Thank you, Chair. Leader, I too wish to raise the trade agreement with Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay. But I think what we need to do before the Minister comes in is most people should sit down and probably read the trade agreement. I think it's very important that we have a balanced discussion rather than sound bites of IFA press releases, because the agreement is quite far-ranging, and I think the importance of the element of the deal is in relation to detail, and detail is important. If you support in relation to measures in relation to climate change, and I do, you have to be honest with people and say this is going to cost. Ireland or Europe cannot deal with climate change alone. It has to be dealt with in an international context. And we've seen Trump running away from their responsibility in the USA in relation to climate change and the breach of the Paris Accord. Not buried, but in the detail of the trade agreement is in relation to tying Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay into the Paris Accord, which is a very important element of the trade agreement. And in fact, the trade agreement becomes null and void if the countries do not sign up and maintain their commitments in relation to the Paris Accord. And included in that is, I hear Senator Boylan using the words of slashing down forests. That's happening at the moment. But one of the elements of the detail of this agreement is actually making it a condition that Brazil signs up to the reforestation of the rainforest. It puts clear targets in relation to that, and the trade agreement itself collapses. It's also about civic society. It's also about freedom of association. A lot of people talk about the right to collective bargaining, and certainly we fought for the battle of the right to collective bargaining in this country, and the right to collective bargaining is also in the Accord. We've talked very strongly, and I too have concerns about how animal welfare is concerned. But again, within the agreement, there's about animal welfare within the agreement, that they have to reach those clear standards. And I'll conclude on this, is there's also agreements and stipulations in relation to antibiotics that would go into in relation to they had to actually reach the 100% standard in relation to food safety that would be imported into the EU, and that in itself will increase food safety across the globe, and it also in relation to the misuse of antibiotics, which would affect us all. But I would urge, before the Minister or the Taoiseach comes in to discuss this, stop reading the IFA press release and go and read the agreement. I'm not saying it's perfect, but we've 2 years to get improvements. So stop taking people's press releases and let's have an honest discussion. Let's stop playing to the audience. Climate change will cost, and we have to sit down and negotiate in a reasonable manner with the rest of the world to try and save this planet.
Senator Éireann.